Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman29, and I come on to do a reply to case words, um, Abraham and Isaac, which is a interesting story indeed. That the binding of Isaac, which is probably inadvertently left in the biblical text, and so we're going to go through some of that, and I'm going to try to explain the way I see it personally. This might not be the right way, but who knows? With the biblical text and the redactions and different writers, different time periods, weaving the history and the accounts and stories and theology together, it ends up being a big mess of soup in an orderly fashion, which is quite interesting indeed. The text of binding of Isaac is found in Genesis 22, and it's according to the documentary theory put out by Friedman, Richard Elliott Friedman. He's got a book here, Who Wrote the Bible. He reintroduced it. The theory's been around a long time. You find it sometimes in Bible notes. Fundamentalists don't like this theory because it says about the multiple writers interwoven, and some of the texts that were supposedly written by Moses, in fact, were not, but written by these schools of writers who had different theologies from different parts of Israel at different times. So they would be called the J, P, E, and D text. D is the writer of Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Samuel, and 1st and 2nd Kings. And the J text is from the nation of Judah, which is written before the time of Josiah. D text was written during the time of Josiah, approximately. And there's also E. E was from Israel, wrote about the same time as J, because the story matter is about the same, and a lot of the stories that were being passed by word of mouth were finally written down. And the P text was written by a writer in the exile. So some big shot scholars went through and looked at some of the text, compared it to the Greeks in a higher form of criticism, and by the redactions and place names and different methods, we're able to form a hypothesis about the writers and what school of thought they came from. And to me personally, right now, it makes sense. Anyways, the text of Genesis 22 is written, penned down by the E writer. He uses Elohiym, so this comes out of Israel, all the way down to from 22:1 to 22:10. Then you have the redaction, which is probably the last redaction, which deals with genealogies and such, piecing together the stories, which is known as the R text, is Genesis 22:11 to 22:16b. So, and then it goes back to J. So, why there was a redaction from 22:11 to 16b, it's quite obvious that Elohiym is used all the way to 22:10, and then the quick switch off to 22:16, and then back to Elohiym again. And in 22:19, we find the text from the New Revised Standard Version. So Abraham returned to his young men. Sorry, KJV. How could I get that wrong? And they rose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. Abraham came alone off the mountain. Child sacrifice happened once in the Bible and was left in where a man in Judges. I'll post it in the comments section over there, so you can kind of see all the neighbors of Israel practiced it, and so it was a common thing, and the prophets went on and on about it, how horrible it was, and even the Israelis offered at some point in their in the priestly views of apostate yeah, that's right, did it themselves. And the whole idea of Yahweh taking the first of everything is not out of line in this text. Isaac was definitely the first. So there you have it. I just implied that Abraham went through with it, but after looking at some text and some Hebrew words, which is quite interesting to ask why that change happened. I'm not saying, for sure that, this happened, but that's just the way the biblical texts are pieced together and laced together. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you can, there's another book. Israel Finkelstein writes on Israel archaeology. He's an archaeologist and has some interesting ideas. He had a book out called Bible on Earth, and also another one on David and Solomon, which shows that the common people who weren't a part of the Yahweh cult, which was probably most of the people, followed Baalism and other religions along with the Yahweh cult, and later the texts were redacted and references to goddesses, Asherah, Astarte, El, Baal, and others were taken out of the text and kind of cleaned up. The First and Second Chronicles is quite interesting because First and Second King, the D writer, was against kingship, and so you get the big speech by Samuel about why a king was bad. Chronicles was a writer who was all for a government body, so he cleans up the text a little bit in First and Second Chronicles. So they come from two different areas of one from Judah, one from Israel, which is really interesting. So hope you enjoyed that. Don't know what I'm talking about, but hopefully you can filter through some of the baloney I just said. And take care, YouTubers. Take care of yourself and each other.